right, guys. So today we have a jam-packed session for you here. We are talking to doctors that own intimate wellness devices, and I'm actually going to be teaching you a simple 10-step strategy for going from barely profitable or barely covering your lease payments to up to $150,000 a year or more in profit within a 12-month period. And this talk is going to be split into two parts. We're going to start with the topic of engaging your current patients. And then we're going to go in and talk about how do you attract new people to your practice for these treatments. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lori Werner. I am the co-founder and chief marketing whiz at Medical Marketing Whiz. A lot of you don't know me as far as my previous life. So I do like to share a little bit about what I did before this, because I worked in the women's health space since 2001. So almost 20 years now. I was in medical device sales. I was actually a multiple President's Club award winner in medical device sales. And then prior to that, I was in pharmaceutical sales. So I've worked in not only women's health market, but also in the sales and marketing roles within that market for the last 20 years. I like to say I've literally been in thousands of women's health offices. And so our company, Medical Marketing Whiz, we specialize in growing in-office procedures at women's health practices. And in fact, to date, we've worked with over 250 offices, all with women's health devices across the US and Canada. And we are the only marketing agency that specializes in this exact niche. So we work with OBGYNs, urogyns, and other women's health providers that are invested in these technologies and want to grow them. We do also work with some other specialties as well. So just so you know, functional medicine, hormone practitioners, as well as doctors that are doing anti-aging, aesthetics, and some regenerative medicine. We do also have partnerships, not only across the industry, but with some of the top tech organizations, as well as medical device companies that specialize in this market. So as always, whenever I do one of these webinars, I like to reward you for taking the time to learn about these strategies. And so in fact, at the end, I'm going to tell you how you can get a copy of our ebook, which is The Secrets to Marketing Women's Intimate Health. So make sure you stick around to the end. So I love to encourage you just with some other offices that are working on these strategies and that it's working. And these are just a handful of our clients across the United States who have one or more of these devices and have implemented these strategies. And we've got them to be number one in their local market, not only number one in women's health, but the busiest as far as doing these types of treatments. And so I'm going to share with you a lot of the secrets that they are implementing so that you can leave this webinar today with some ideas of what you can do to take your practice to the next level. So who is today's talk for? Well, it is for those of you that have these devices. We know they're expensive. You've invested a lot, and you need to attract high quality patients that are willing to pay cash for these services. You could be, maybe you brought this into your practice because you're sick and tired of being at the hospital or rounding on patients or delivering babies, and you want to grow your in-office procedures so that you can increase your practice profits because we know reimbursement is going down, and also just to give you a better work-life balance. You want patients to know you're number one in your area and that you offer services that no one else does. It's shocking to me how many people buy one of these devices and they think when you buy it, they will come. And that is not the case. In fact, most of the patients within their own practice don't even know all of the different things that they do. So that's really, really important. I like this fourth one here. The company made it seem like it was going to be really easy to get patients. Like, hey, doc, once you do this, we're going to make you the center of excellence. And, patients are just going to come to your office for this treatment. And what you've realized is it's not as easy as what it seemed. And it can actually be a little bit frustrating because you know the potential in it. You just haven't been able to achieve it. I've seen other offices that have worked with marketing agencies and they got leads, but pretty much none of them turned into a patient. They were all garbage leads. So it ended up being a big waste of money and time. Other offices, maybe you feel like you're trying everything, you're doing everything. You just want to watch this webinar to try to see like, hey, is there anything I'm missing? Or you just don't want to waste any more time and money. You really like, this is the time to get things going. And then lastly is your staff may be doing your marketing, but they've got a lot of other jobs at the office. And so at the end of the day, they ultimately either have little marketing experience or not enough time to do the marketing. And so what results is what I like to call kind of sort of marketing. So you're kind of sort of marketing. And so you can only kind of sort of expect results. I do also like to talk about who these strategies do not work for. Number one, this isn't going to work for an office that's looking for a quick fix, because quite honestly, there is no such thing as a quick fix. These tactics only work if you realize that you, in order to make this kind of money in a reasonable amount of time, in less than a year or under, you got to use a multifaceted approach to your marketing in order to educate your current patients and attract new ones. And that will not happen overnight. Doctors that want a program that is totally hands-off and they want to be a set it and forget it. You know, I'm going to pay you a fee and you're going to bring me leads and I'm not going to have to do anything. I can tell you that does not exist. And so anytime you see somebody saying that this is what they're going to deliver with their marketing program, I would be a bit skeptical, because there's no such thing as set it and forget it. Offices that do not have the staff in place to create a great patient experience. The thing is that people that are going to come in for these treatments and pay out of pocket, they expect top-notch service from a caring and highly educated staff. So all the marketing in the world isn't going to fix the staffing problem. So make sure that you have a great staff in place that preferably has had the treatment done themselves, somebody that can speak to their own experience. That makes a huge difference. And then lastly, if you're somebody that just wants to kind of kick the can down the road, you're not really ready to take action, this program may not be for you. Because the thing is that waiting to invest in your marketing till you have patients is really like the cart before the horse. I hear this all the time, like, okay, well, I'll be ready to get started when we get some patients. And it just unfortunately doesn't work that way. So here's the truth. You absolutely can attract high quality people for these services. You can grow your revenue by 150,000 or more per year using a variety of techniques. So social media marketing, email marketing, patient education, events, and webinars. The problem is that a lot of women's health providers are not equipped with the time or skills to effectively market themselves, because putting all of these strategies together, they can be very time consuming. And it also sometimes requires marketing tactics that you may not fully understand how to implement. And the other thing too is there's a lot of marketing agencies out there. They don't understand how to market such a sensitive topic. So they may be great at marketing cool sculpting, but that strategy does not work for intimate health. I like to say, you know, people are kind of married to their gynecologist. Like, this is a very sensitive subject. It requires a treatment that, you know, you have to take your clothes off. You have a probe going in. Like, it's not something that people are just going to see an ad and walk off the street and get this treatment done. It requires a little bit different marketing approach. And so some of these companies that may be great at aesthetics marketing or cool sculpting and things like that aren't always the best at knowing how to get patients for this type of a treatment. So you are absolutely in the right place today if you want to achieve success with your intimate wellness device. How you're going to do it is educating your current patients first, because these people already know, like, and trust you, and then having a marketing plan to attract new people to the office. And so I'm actually going to go over this 10-step strategy that will produce $150,000 or more in revenue within 12 months. And the first part that we're going to focus on is that engaging your current patients. Now, here's the great thing about this, is that the beauty of this system is that this isn't just going to work for intimate wellness. it's going to work for other treatments that you're offering, other procedures in your practice. Like if you're doing hormones, if you have aesthetic services, if you've got a weight loss program, or you're doing other in-office procedures. It also does work for things like if you're maybe you're a functional medicine doctor and you're also offering some men's health services, like things like erectile dysfunction. These strategies work great for that as well. So that's the cool thing. You learn it once and then you can duplicate it. So let's first talk about the patients within your practice and why you need to start here. We've all heard about this know, like, and trust factor. And I can't emphasize it enough. You absolutely have to start with the people in your practice. And unfortunately, I see a mistake a lot of times. Doctors will judge their marketing results and they'll say, well, I got all these webinar watches, but they were all my own patients. And it's like, well, yeah, that's where you want to start. And so your success shouldn't be based on only new patients. It should be based on procedure volumes. And you want to start with your own patients, because Forbes actually did a study very recently that was in Forbes magazine that said that it costs you 4 times more to acquire a new customer, in this case I said patient, than it does to retain an existing one. So if you're spending all your time right now just marketing externally and you're not doing any of the things to engage your current patients, you're 5xing your marketing spend. So let's get into some old school ways of marketing internal to your practice versus the new way to think about things. So some old school ways, I see this, they've got flyers and brochures around the office. They're talking to patients as they come in for their annual exam. They've got it up on their website and they're hoping that their website is going to educate people about this treatment option that they offer. They're posting on social media and they're downloading content from the company's marketing portals, which a lot of these companies, they have great marketing content. So I don't want to discourage you from doing that. I think it's a great idea, but that's not how you're going to get patients. And then focusing, like I said, focusing primarily on external marketing and not engaging the people already on your list that know, like, and trust you. So some new school ways of doing this, and I'm going to go through a lot of these with you, is focusing your marketing on patient education. The more you can provide awesome education to your existing patients, the more that you will market yourself in a way that also doesn't come across salesy. So how are you going to do that? We're going to teach you how to send mailers to certain patient demographics within your practice, how to use email marketing, and how to personalize your social media marketing to educate patients. Also, reminder system for maintenance treatments. These treatments do require some maintenance, whether it's a year, 18 months down the road. You want to make sure that you've got a system for tracking those, because if you can get people to come in for their touch-up treatments, that creates a snowball effect with your revenue. And then having a landing page with scheduling and appointment reminders. So in order for you to really know of the people on your list in your practice right now, who is interested in this treatment, you want to have an opt-in mechanism so that they can either watch a webinar or opt in to learn more, maybe watch a short video on what this treatment actually is. That is going to give you a big bolus of people to get appointments to right from the get-go. And then hosting what we call an evergreen webinar, recording a webinar on this topic once and using it over and over and over again to get new patients scheduled. So the first strategy is with engaging your current list is an email blast and a mailer to your current patients. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think about who's in your practice. And if you can go into your EMR and even pull this list, you want women over the age of 40. You want patients that have had a hysterectomy, total hysterectomy, patients that are currently taking hormone therapy, and also breast cancer survivors. That is a great list to pull. And you want to speak to the patient's pain points and let them know that your office has researched various treatment options and that you're the first or one of the first in the area to offer this as an option. And so there's an example here. You want to make sure that you do this via mail, physical old school mail, and in an email blast. Now, the reason that this mail is very effective and important is if people get a letter, and I want it to be a letter, not a glossy, shiny postcard or marketing piece, a physical letter in the mail. If people get a letter from their doctor, they will open it. So you will have a very high open rate. We had a client recently that sent a mailer out and got 30 appointment bookings within a week or two. So it definitely works. Then you want to also utilize email. So in your email, you want to have a button that allows people to learn more. That's where they're going to opt in. And you'll know of all the people you sent that email to, who clicked that learn more button. And those are folks that you can flag in their chart. You can reach out to them to have them to come in for a consultation. The other thing you want to do is make sure you have a newsletter, a monthly email newsletter that goes out to your entire patient list. Again, thinking of patient education. Every month is a health month. So you want to make sure that you're highlighting that health month, and then always make sure there is something about your intimate wellness device in your newsletter. Other great things to include in a newsletter: a recipe. This will get very high clicks. The more clicks you get in your email blast, the less your email will go to people's spam. It's very important. The email servers love it when emails are opened and there's clicks. So a recipe is a great idea. You can also ask for Google reviews and promote your social media channel. So if you're not doing a newsletter, you really should be, and we recommend doing it monthly. So that's going to educate your current patients, and then later on, we're going to talk about new patients. The new patients will get this email as well, to help nurture them and help them to get to know you. So the second thing that you want to do to engage your current patients is to make sure that you have a maintenance treatment reminder system in place. And basically, we know that patients need this treatment every year or year and a half. And so you want to make sure that you're tracking who has had this treatment done a year or more ago. Pull that list, send them an email. It's time for your maintenance treatment. Maybe you're offering a little discount on that individual treatment. They've got their link where they can actually get on your schedule. You can use mail. So again, physical mailer, email, and text to make sure that these people are followed up with. This is where you're really going to create that cumulative snowball effect with your revenue. So this is, again, a quick, easy thing that you could do today, where you pull that list of people that need a maintenance treatment and make sure you reach out to them and remind them to come in. Even if it's just coming in for an appointment to talk about how things are going, sometimes that can be a billable visit. And then of course you can get them to get that maintenance treatment scheduled. Third thing, okay, this is key. As far as marketing and being able to really measure your results, is you got to have a landing page. So this can be on your website. It can be separate from your website, but it's a page that you'll drive traffic to get people to opt in to learn more about this treatment option that you offer. You'll collect their name, email, and phone number. When they opt in, they'll get to another page, the second step in the funnel, which is, hey, let's learn about this treatment option. They can schedule a consultation with a button right on that landing page. And the way our system works is we build out this funnel for clients, and they actually get a calendar where that highly motivated person can say, hey, I want to come in on Thursday at 12:30 for a consult for this. And then your office gets an email that says, hey, Lori wants to come in on Thursday at 12:30. Does that work? You confirm my appointment, and then it will remind me to actually show up. So this is key, because if somebody is interested, you want to make sure that they're getting followed up with very quickly. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in today's talk as well. So the other cool thing is you can track your ROI when you do this. So you're putting money into marketing, and you can actually track how much revenue you're getting and how many of those folks are actually converting into patients. Okay, so social media, let's talk a little bit about that and how you can use social media to get the word out to your own patients, And then we'll talk a little bit about new patients as well. So the main thing is you got to be present on social media, and you need to use it as a patient education tool. It should not be salesy. It should not be all stock photos. This is, again, where we're saying there's no such thing as set it and forget it. The whole purpose of social media is for people to get to know you. So if you're not on it, it's hard for people to feel like, oh, wow, like I didn't know that this doctor was the expert in intimate wellness, or what are they talking about? Menopause chat. What is that all about? Well, I'm menopausal. I want to learn more about that. So you'll see that our clients are involved with their social media with our guidance, and we actually do the posting for them. But just at the end of the day, make sure that you are part of your social media and that you're using it to actually educate your patients. And so I like to remind people, like, the whole purpose of social media is not to sell. It's not to put up stock photos and not engage with anyone and expect your post to do really well. The purpose of it is to create content that your users are going to engage with. So they're going to click, comment, watch a video, look at an image, comment, the different things. There needs to be some kind of an engagement. And ultimately, it's awesome if they share your content, because when they share your content, that increases your exposure, because now their friends list sees what they're sharing. So the type of things that you should post, organic content should be, you should take a photo of you with the device. Make sure that you have that. It will perform a lot better than the company marketing portal stock photo of the device. Videos. So any kind of video content, it could be you just talking about like why you brought it into the practice, what things it treats, what are common questions that people ask about it. Resources from the marketing portal from the companies. Again, I think they've got a lot of great material. You absolutely should use it, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're posting on there. Testimonials. So you want your patients and new patients to see that people on social media are saying great things about you. So, looking at your Google reviews, looking at your Facebook reviews, recording a testimonial from a patient and sharing that on social media will build that authority, build that trust that, wow, this treatment is amazing and it's helping a lot of people. And I'm so excited that my doctor now offers this. And then also making sure, we're going to talk a little bit about events and webinars, but making sure you're using social media to get the word out about those to your own patients, as well as to potentially new folks. And then you also have ads, paid ads. We're going to talk about that a little bit farther in the webinar today, of how do you use paid ads? How much should you actually be spending on this? And how do you get new people that are interested in this treatment? So hopefully those are some helpful tips on what you should be doing on social media. So the fifth step in engaging your current patients is recording an evergreen webinar. What an evergreen webinar is a webinar that you record once, pre-recorded, and then it runs on autopilot to continually educate people, even while you're not there live. So the awesome thing about webinars, and this has been a huge game changer for us with our clients, is being able to educate patients, because this treatment isn't just like a 2-minute conversation, right? Like, it requires some education. It requires overcoming objections. It's not a short conversation. And so the awesome thing is it's going to allow you to talk to a lot of people at once. You can talk to hundreds of women all at the same time without having to have that individual long conversation with every single one of them. Patients can watch this at their convenience. They can watch it on their lunch break. They can watch it at home. They can have their partner watch it along with them. You're also not restricted on what you say on that webinar, like if you were to just go live on Facebook. So on Facebook and Instagram, they sometimes are not so nice as far as letting you run ads when it comes to vaginal health treatments. You can't say the word vagina. You can't say the word sex. You can't say the word intercourse. You can't say the word vaginal rejuvenation. you have to be very careful. Like even the names of the devices, sometimes they will flag it and they will deny your ad. If you're running a webinar ad and just getting people to opt into the webinar, that video is gated. And so therefore you're not restricted by what you can say or not say on that webinar, like if you were just to do it straight up on Facebook. It saves you a lot of time because again, imagine like someone coming in, they're in for their annual exam. You only have 10 or 15 minutes for the appointment. You know that they suffer from this problem because maybe they brought it up. You don't have time to go into a lot of detail. You can say, you know what, Betty, we actually have a webinar that I recorded. It's on our website. And in fact, if you watch it, I think you get like $250 off the treatment. Why don't you go ahead and watch that? And then we'll schedule you to come in next Wednesday and we can talk more about it. That way you've just saved yourself a ton of time. It also positions you as that expert. I can guarantee you your competitors are not doing webinars. And so it positions you, it edifies you as that local thought leader. And so it really can position you as that local expert. And again, like I mentioned, whenever you do one of these and you have that opt-in page where people have to register to watch it, you're going to know name, email, and phone number of every single person that watches that. And that is powerful. That gives you a very hot leads list of people to get in for an appointment. So these webinars are really like a targeted digital event, and they accomplish three things. So first off, you're going to get immediate sales and ROI. So there's going to be patients that in your practice that are going to watch this webinar and they're going to go, amen, I have this problem and I want to come in. I'm ready for this treatment option. Then you're going to also have two other benefits. You're going to have local branding, visibility, and patient education. So not everybody is going to get the treatment done right away, but now they know who you are. They have been educated on this topic that they didn't know about before. And that gives you that lucrative future pipeline. So those folks may not be a hot lead yet, but they know about the treatment. They're going to continue to live their life. They're going to continue to have these symptoms. And guess what? They're going to remember what it is that you taught them. And so that future pipeline can be very, very lucrative. So these are just a few ideas of webinar topics. Now, I would say don't do the webinar just about your device. I would recommend doing it on a little more broad of a topic. So the reason for this is there's a lot more menopausal women that are interested in learning about fixing menopausal issues than there are only interested in intimate wellness. So the cool thing is if you do a webinar on maybe menopause or the things no one told you about menopause, maybe you talk about hormone therapy and urinary incontinence and genital urinary syndrome of menopause, you can kill a lot of birds with one stone. And you're going to get more opt-ins. So this one has been really successful. This whole Girlfriend's Guide to Feminine Well-Being, where you're talking about multiple things. And then also this, we've got the secret to women's wellness, advancements in the treatment of women's intimate health. That one is another really good idea. So how these webinars work is basically you need to have a registration page. So an opt-in page where that way you know who's watching. You will get a list of name, email, and phone number of everybody that registered for that webinar. That person actually watches the webinar. So once they opt in, when it's evergreen, they can watch it immediately. They don't have to wait around. That will work better than trying to do a live webinar. I know a lot of times I'll get a question about like, well, what about Q&A? Like you can address the frequently asked questions in the webinar, and then you can have them email you if they have a question. But most of the time, it's like, hey, let's just get in your consult and we can answer your questions there. So we have found in testing out live and evergreen, the evergreen performs a lot better than a live webinar. And then you want to make sure that you're going to follow up with everybody. And I'll talk to you a little bit about how you can do that automated so that it doesn't burden your staff. So just a few statistics about webinars. So about 51% of people that discover your webinar will actually register for it. And of those, about a third of them will actually show up and watch it. The rest of them will have the opportunity, if they don't watch it right on the spot, that they'll get some nurturing and some replays sent to them, and they'll have the opportunity to watch it later. And the conversion rate for the best webinars is about 19%. So it's all a game of math. You know, you want to get a lot of people to see your landing page so that you can get about half of them to opt in. And then a third of them to show up, and then converting 19% of those into actual appointments. So to kind of recap the whole engaging your current patients, these are the 5 things that you want to make sure that you're doing. And again, you got to do this first before you start focusing on new people. Now, what's cool is you could do these things and then at the same time start to implement some of the new patient strategies. And so you'll start getting patients from your own list using these 5 tactics while your cold leads that you're getting are starting to get warmed up. So the 2 of them can work together really, really nicely. You want to make sure you've got that email blast and mailer out to your current patients. You want to make sure you've got that maintenance treatment reminder system in place. You've got a landing page set up so you know who's interested in the treatment. You're using social media to educate patients. You've got a picture of you with your device posted on social media, and then you're going to record that evergreen webinar and get it launched as soon as possible to your current patient list. So just doing the math, let's just talk about like your own patients, okay? And this is really where, again, I want to encourage you that this is totally doable. We've had clients pay off their entire device without attracting 1 new patient. They've done it all from their existing patient list. So starting with this list first, let's say you have 1,000 patients in your practice that are over the age of 45. Okay. We know statistically that about half of those patients will suffer from genital urinary syndrome menopause. Okay. So let's just say 500 of them have that problem. And you send an email blast to all 1,000 and you get 150 that opt in to your email blast to say, interesting, you know, I want some more. And maybe some of those also have responded to your mailer that you sent out. And then you host a webinar. You record your webinar and you send out and you push out the webinar and you get another 80 people that watch your webinar. So you've got all of those folks that are somewhat interested. And let's just say only 20% of them actually come in for a consultation. So you have just 46 of them show up for a consult out of the 1,000 on your list. Okay, assuming that you charge around $3,000 for the treatment. I know it depends on your area. I see it anywhere between $1,800 and $3,500, but let's just say it's $3,000. There's $138,000 of revenue just from those 46 people. Okay. Now, again, those 46 people, you have to have somebody in the office that is a champion for the treatment and that can convince them to get the treatment done. So that's the difference between sales and marketing, but that is a very, very doable number. The other thing is you can actually expect to double and triple that number from the awareness and the long-term pipeline, plus your maintenance treatments that you're going to have in place. All right. So we've talked a lot about engaging your current patients. Now let's switch modes here and let's talk about how do you get new people interested in this treatment that aren't in your practice right now. And so there's, again, going back to the old way and the new way of thinking. So these are some of the things that I'll see offices do to try to attract new people. They're spending money on Google AdWords, hoping that new patients are going to find them based on typing in the name of the device or typing in the word vaginal rejuvenation. Here's the deal. Nobody's searching for those words. And so paying a company to keyword optimize your website or keyword optimize using Google AdWords, there's not enough people in a radius around your office searching for those words. So it's, in my opinion, not a good strategy. But I see it all the time. People are spending a lot of money on this stuff. And it's just, of course, the SEO company is not going to tell you that, oh, you're number 1 for the word vaginal rejuvenation, but they didn't tell you that only 1 person in a year even searched for that word in your local area. So boosting and promoting Facebook and Instagram posts. I see this too, like they can't help but push the boost button, like for $20, boost this post. And they have no idea what they're doing. And they basically boost this post for $20. And that's the equivalent of like standing on your front porch saying, hey, everybody, I've got this treatment available. And then hoping the phone rings. And you don't even know, you're like saying it to all of your neighbors when really only like some of your neighbors would even care. So boosting Facebook posts and promoting Instagram posts is a complete waste of money. You need to know how to use the ads manager to run a targeted ad. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. And then sending out mass postcards and mailers. Again, most of that goes in the garbage. It's less than a 1% response for those type of things. Does not work, especially for this treatment option. Because keep in mind, you always got to remember, like, think about yourself. Like, if you had no idea who a doctor was and you just got a postcard in the mail or saw a Facebook ad about this treatment, like, would you show up there right away and let them do this on you? Like, no, it's a personal decision. It requires a much higher know, like, and trust factor to actually change gynecologists or change women's health providers and go to a new office to get this type of a treatment done. So again, waste of money to do that type of stuff. Some new strategies. Again, we talked about the webinar. The webinar is important for your current patients, but it's probably even more important for attracting new people. It will help people get to know you. They will feel like they know you at the end of that webinar. Running what we call geo-targeted social media ads to get people to opt in, whether it's a lead generating campaign or to register and watch your webinar. That's how you should use social media ads. I'm going to show you some examples. Offering online appointment scheduling and reminders. People want to be able to book their appointments online. That's really important, especially for attracting new people. They don't want to call an office that they don't know. You got to nurture your leads. So we're going to talk about, you've got a cold lead. How do you nurture them using email, text, and social media to turn them into a hot lead that wants to become a new patient? And then lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about your Google listing and your online reputation, because again, when you're attracting new people, you got to be able to be found on Google, and you better have a rock solid online reputation, or otherwise all of your marketing will fall on deaf ears and the phone will not ring. You will not be able to grow this arm of your practice. So this Google listing is super, super important. All right. So why is building a list so critical? So according to the Direct Marketing Organization, email marketing on average sees a 4,300% ROI for businesses in the US. Now, because these subscribers joined your list from a landing page, they've raised their hand and kind of said, like, I'm interested in learning more. I have this problem. And this is why they're going to be more likely to become a paying patient. Email lists get 10 times higher conversions than social media campaigns. And the other beauty is you own your email list. So you don't own your social media followers. So you make one mistake of posting, like, I'll see sometimes people will post like before and after pictures of like other treatments on their social media, and then they'll boost the post and Facebook will deny their ad. Instagram will deny their ad. You do that a couple times, you'll get banned. So if you start running ads for Viveve or Femilift or MonaLisa Touch, and you try to boost a post, they have those words flagged and your social media account can get shut down. This is why you have to build your email list. I would rather see somebody with 2,000 people on their email list than 2,000 people following them on social media. So we're going to talk about social media because I am a huge believer in it as a great tool to build your email list, but you need to be obsessed with getting people on your list. So how do you build a list? Well, we're going to talk about it. Let's first talk about the types of leads. Okay. And I think this is really key to understand, because not every lead is created equal. A lot of marketing agencies, especially these ones that I see on social media, like, we'll bring you 30 patients in 30 days. And basically what they do is they get you 30 leads and you call them all and none of them are interested. And that's because these people have no previous experience with your business. They have no idea who you are. They might have seen an ad on social media, but before, they've never expressed any interest in what you have to do. And they're more than likely not going to be happy if you call them out of the blue. So what is your goal for these people? Your goal for these people is to get them on your list and help them get to know you. Okay. And then you've got the people that are a little bit warmer. So they're aware of your practice. Maybe they're on your email list. They've expressed some interest. They might have opted into an ad or an offer that you have. They can potentially turn into a patient. A lot of times we call these people prospects. So in this group, your goal is to get them to like you. Okay. And then you've got your hot leads. Okay. These are the people that you want to be reaching out to. They're ready for a phone call. They're ready for an appointment. They're familiar with your practice. They've watched your webinar. They're specifically looking for what you have to offer. And at this point, they're either looking for more value or more assurance before making a decision. So they might want to see like some testimonials or some frequently asked questions, like for some reason they're on the fence. And so you can use automation and nurturing to get them over the edge. And so this group is like, you just want to get them to trust you. You know, why are you the go-to office? And that is what your job is with these hot leads. So not all leads are created equal. And so why should you use social media ads to build your list? Okay. So first thing, this is where your ideal patients are. Okay. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. They're not on TikTok and they're not on Snapchat. Okay. So they're not on Twitter. You don't need to worry about those. When it comes to intimate wellness, I would say Facebook #1, Instagram #2. The cool thing is they're owned by the same company, so you can run ads simultaneously on both. The ads are very, very cost effective. They are dirt cheap compared to anything else that you can do. And the targeting capabilities are exceptional. Okay. So you can target the exact patient, like that woman over 45 that lives within 25 miles of your office, who's in the top 50% income bracket and who already spends money on other self-care services. You can get your message in front of that exact person for very, very low amount of money. And as we talked a little bit about the Google ads, there's a larger pool of people on social media with these problems than there are on Google typing in keywords. So think about how many menopausal women are on Facebook. It's a ton. And we know 50% of those menopausal women have genitourinary syndrome of menopause. So there's a much bigger pool of people using social media than it is running keyword campaigns on Google. So this is just a quick cost comparison. When you look at your average cost to reach 1,000 people, now this is not to get 1,000 leads. This is to get your message in front of 1,000 targeted people. With Facebook and Instagram ads, it's about 25 cents to get your message in front of 1,000 people, way cheaper than anything else that is available out there in terms of digital and non-digital marketing strategies. So just some statistics, and a lot of you have probably experienced this yourself. You know, you put up an organic Facebook or Instagram post, and let's say you've got 1,000 people on your Facebook page. Well, there's not 1,000 people that see it. It's actually, and 6% I actually think is a high number. I've heard closer to 3 to 5%, but let's just say 6% will actually ever see your post. It's a very, very, very small amount. But when you run ads, you X that by a lot. So you can get up to 27, 28, 29% higher engagement when you're putting some money behind your ad. Okay. And the average conversion of a Facebook ad, now again, remember, these are cold leads, is about 5%, which that's actually a really good number. So in the healthcare space, the conversion is actually pretty good. So we talked about boosting posts, and then we talked about using the ads manager. So when you're using the Facebook ads manager, it allows you to also connect your Instagram account. So you have to choose an objective, and it's kind of overwhelming when you open this up and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know what to choose. The two that you want to focus on, and I would say this one is the most important, is your lead generation and your conversions. So your lead generation objective is when you want to grow your email list. So you actually want to get contact information. Maybe you've got an ebook that you're promoting, and I'm going to show you some ideas for that. You've got those landing pages you're trying to get traffic to, or you're trying to get people to register for your webinar. So in this case, what's cool about these ads is that it knows the email address and contact information of the person on Facebook or Instagram, because that person has to log in with that contact. And so it will pull their information and put it on your email list. And then the conversions this is how you know somebody actually opted into your ad. And this is where you can track your ROI. So like how many people opted into your landing page and actually got to your thank you page, or how many people opted into your ebook and actually downloaded it, or how many registered for the webinar and actually watched the broadcast. So once you know your objective, you have to pick who you want the ad to be shown to. So you need to know who your patient avatar is. Who is that ideal patient that you want to get in front of? You know, where do they live? Again, it depends on your locale, but if you are in a really highly concentrated area, like we've got some clients in, let's say LA or Washington, DC, you know, their radius might only be 5 or 10 miles. If you're in a more suburban area, maybe that radius is 25 miles. I wouldn't pick, like, I know all of you have patients that will drive 2 hours to see you. Okay. That's not who you should put on here. Put how far the majority of people drive from. Because you don't want to waste your money on an ad that's being shown to somebody that lives 2 hours away. You're better off concentrating your money on folks that are close to your office. So what age? For feminine health, I would say shoot for over 40. You obviously want to pick women. And then you can also pick like some other categories. I would definitely pick top 50% income earners. And then you can also narrow it down even to other things that those folks might be into. So sometimes Facebook will even give you some suggestions of some categories to choose. But, you know, folks that are into hormone imbalance, folks that are into anti-aging, those are probably folks that would be interested in your intimate wellness treatment. So this is where you can target them. You can't do this when you're boosting posts. So this is why understanding how to use the ads manager will save you a lot of money. So getting leads with social media ads. So these are 3 types of ads, just to give you a few examples of the type of ads that will build your email list. So number 1, an ad that is driving traffic to your webinar landing page. So when the person clicks learn more, it will go to your webinar landing page where they opt in and then they watch your webinar. Maybe you're doing what we call an offer ad. So you're offering like a discount off of your treatment. Remember that picture you took with you and your device? That's the picture that should be in your ad. When they click get offer, Facebook and Instagram will grab their contact information and put it on your email list and then send them the offer. And then also ebooks. Okay, these ebooks, if you don't have a big email list, this is the number 1 thing that you can do to grow your email list. We can get new leads for sometimes 35 cents a lead, which is dirt cheap. Okay, so a menopause women's wellness guide. Now we actually have these ebooks and we provide them to our clients. So they have a variety of ebooks that they can choose from. We customize the cover so it's branded for the office. And then we run ads to get people to download that book. Well, guess what? If I'm menopausal and I want to be healthy, I might be interested in this. So I click download the book. It grabs my contact information, puts me on your email list, and then it emails me the book and an introduction about your office and who you are. And then I'm on your email list. So now I'm going to start getting your newsletters and some of the things that we talked about. So if you're not going to get people that aren't menopausal downloading this book. So think about what could your ebook topic be about? Maybe it's about hormone havoc or healthy menopause or perimenopause, or body after baby. I mean, depending on what your specialty is, maybe you want to do something for a little bit younger patient population that's maybe suffering from incontinence after having children. So think about like that type of a topic. That's going to do a lot better than an ebook about your device or an ebook about just your treatment option. So you want it to be a little bit more broad, but these ebooks work like it's amazing at how many leads you will get. And then those are great candidates for your treatment as well. So just kind of thinking about like the path that a lead will go down. So they become a lead, and you really need to think about these things. You've got to educate them. You've got to inform them. You've got to engage them. And only after that will you be able to convert them into a patient. So some of you may have heard of this before. Us in the marketing world, we talk about this all the time, the marketing rule of 7. And basically what this means is that your lead needs to hear or see your marketing message at least 7 times before they're going to schedule an appointment. So contacting them when they first get on your list is not a good idea. You need to be nurturing them through a variety of ways. And so some different ways that you can nurture your leads. Well, you can nurture them with social media. So you're already present on social media. You're posting that great educational content, personal content, videos, some of the things we talked about. They're going to follow you and start to get to know you through social media. I mean, it's funny, Glenn and I were very present on social media. We do webinars every other week, teaching people marketing strategies. And a lot of times people will get on a call with me and they feel like they're already my friend and they've already watched a lot of our content. They've followed us on social media. They've gotten tons of value. The same exact thing works when you're taking the position from doctor to new patient. Okay, using email marketing, using text messaging, and then also automating this whole process so that it's not so labor intensive. And that is using something called a sales funnel. And the thing is that if you can master these strategies, you're going to generate 50% more sales ready leads at a 33% lower cost than if you're just doing nothing but social media ads with no nurturing. I mean, it's shocking to me sometimes. I'll see people that'll have a great social media following, and then I'll ask them, okay, so how many people are on your email list? And it'll be like 400. It'll be like very low. Are you doing email marketing? No, I'm not doing, or worse, they've got, 10,000 patients on their email list and they've never used it. So it's, but then they're spending money on Google ads and social media ads. So ways to nurture on social media. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Same thing, personal content, videos, educational posts, inspirational quotes do really well. So any kind of like women's empowerment, those type of posts do really well. And then making sure that you're marketing your events and webinars. And then just remember, like when you're crafting your message, you need to be not salesy. It's not about the device. Okay. It's about the problems and the symptoms that person has, and that you are the only office that offers these innovative, latest technology and ways that they can solve this problem. And so these are just a few examples of some of our clients and some personal post ideas. So, you've gotten trained on a new procedure, take a picture. You've got a different health month. So like coming up, we have menopause month, we have breast cancer month, and we have bladder health month, all coming up. That's a health month that you could be highlighting on social media, and you have a solution for helping patients with any of those issues. Again, we talk again about making sure you're taking a picture with your device. Talk about your doctors and your staff. Do like a spotlight. The way these algorithms work on social media is these posts will get a lot of comments. So if you have a post that will get a lot of comments, or maybe it's video views, the next post will be rewarded. So you do your doctor spotlight, that gets a whole bunch of comments. The next day you post about your MonaLisa Touch device, or the next day you post about your webinar. That webinar will get shown to more people because of what happened the day before with a very engaging personal post. We talked about the newsletter. Okay. So same thing, your new leads are going to be on your email list, and they're going to start getting your newsletter, and you're going to continue to give them value with that. And then you want to automate this process as much as possible. And this is really why I believe you need to have a webinar, and you need to have a landing page, and then you need to have an automated follow-up system. So here's just an example. Here's a social media ad that we're running to women within 20 miles of this office, over the age of 40, top 50% income earners. I'm interested in this treatment. I click learn more. It sends me to a landing page where I can opt in. I can watch your video about your treatment. And then the cool thing is that this system will know if I schedule an appointment or if I don't. If I schedule an appointment, it's going to send me appointment reminders. If I watch the video and I don't schedule an appointment, it's going to send me some additional resources. So maybe it's my ebook. Maybe it's testimonials from a patient that's had the treatment done. Maybe there's some frequently asked questions that are sent. You want to continue to nurture them. And then every time within encouraging them to actually book an appointment. And so they book an appointment, they choose their day and time. Your office gets a notice that Lori wants to come in on Thursday at 12:30. You can confirm my day and time or confirm me for a different day and time, and then you can track all of your leads. This is what's going to automate the process and why this is important. The hidden power of automation, okay? The average lifespan of an online lead is actually only 5 minutes. So what that means is 78% of the time, that conversion is going to go to the first practice to reply. So if I watch your webinar and I opt into your webinar and I don't get that replay sent to me and a message from you, or I reach out on your website and I opt in because I want an appointment and I don't hear from anybody for 2 or 3 days, I'm kind of not motivated anymore. And I might just be on the MonaLisa Touch Physician Finder finding someone else. So you're going to increase your chance of contacting that person if you do it within 5 minutes by 900%. The problem is that it's almost impossible to do that manually. So you need to have these systems in place that can just be like an autoresponder that responds back to them, encouraging them to book that appointment and addressing questions and giving them testimonials. So just a quick recap on nurturing your leads, and then we're almost done. You're going to nurture your leads on multiple platforms. You're going to be present on your social media. You're going to talk to the patient's pain points. You're going to make sure that you're doing email marketing with your newsletter and your nurturing campaigns. You're going to have that evergreen webinar and even maybe a quarterly seminar that you're going to offer. And then you're going to follow up automatically using technology to do that for you. And so lastly, you can do all of this. And when patients hear about you, they're going to have to Google you to get your phone number. Okay. So even word of mouth, I tell my best friend that, you're a great office and I had this treatment option. She wants to make an appointment on Monday. She's going to look you up. So what do people see on Google? You have to make sure that you've claimed your Google listings. So there's something called Google My Business, and these listings actually show up on Google search and Google Maps. This is the #1 way that people are finding a doctor. In fact, 93% of local searches feature these listings. It shows up on page 1 of Google, and it's above all of the websites. So even the #1 ranked website, and again, this is that old school marketing, like I'm just obsessed with trying to get my website to rank on page 1. Guess what? It's actually below all of the Google listings. So your website could be on page 10. If your Google listing is in what we call the top 3 here, so below the ad, but these top 3, you're going to get more clicks than the person that has the #1 ranked website. So that is what is called a no-click search. And that is where people call the office or click on the website or click on directions right from the Google listing. Now, if you're me and you're looking for a gynecologist near me and you live in Cleveland, are you going to call this office? Probably not, right? Because even though they've got a lot of reviews, they only have a 2.4 star average. So if this office is sinking money in marketing and they're not looking at this, that's a big mistake because this will stop the phone from ringing. You're probably going to pick one of these 2 other offices that have a much better online reputation. And so the SEO companies aren't going to tell you this, that Google My Business is the whale right now when it comes to SEO, and it's free. So the SEO companies don't want to tell you this because they want you to pay them, thousands of dollars per month to SEO your website. And it's funny, like I had an office just the other day that was like, I've been paying money for SEO. Why has no one told me this? It's because Google My Business is free. It has a huge impact on your SEO. So how to optimize your listing. First, you got to claim your listing. So Google the name of your practice and Google all of the doctors also, because sometimes they will make listings for the doctors and they're just not claimed. So there'll be a little icon that'll say own this business ? If your business is not claimed, you want to click that and then go through the process of claiming that listing. And then that way you'll be able to log into your Gmail account. You'll be able to go to Google My Business and all of your listings will be there and you can optimize all of them. So some things you want to do, you want to make sure you update your categories. So if you're a gynecologist, make sure gynecologist is your main category. If you're an OBGYN, make sure it's OBGYN. Don't have it be like doctor or medical clinic, because then you're competing with every other doctor of every other specialty. And when someone tries to search for OB-GYN near me, you will not come up. Make sure you've got all of your service areas. So not just where your office is located, but all the other places around you that you get patients from. And then complete the rest of the listing. So make sure you've got your website, make sure you've got your office hours, you've got your bio, all of those things that'll kind of walk you through what you need. Make sure under services, you add intimate wellness as a service. That is going to be on this tab. Any products you have, and then photos and videos. So when you click on photos and videos, you'll have the opportunity to add a cover photo and a logo. And then all of those personal pictures that you've been using for social media, you want to make sure they're on your listing. So a picture with you with the device, a picture of the inside of your office, the outside of your office, your team all together. Like you can see this one, this is a cover photo and it's got the doctor and his staff and he's holding up his little signs like, I love MonaLisa, I love ThermiVa, I love the Amstella chair. This has gotten 41,000 views on Google. So offices that have a lot of photos on their Google listing will way outperform those that don't. It'll help you move up the rankings on that search result as well. And then lastly, just focusing on your Google reviews, because the fact is that it takes 20 years to build that reputation, sometimes longer. You know, you've spent a lot of time in training to build your online reputation, but it only takes 5 minutes to ruin it. And so if you think about that, you'll do things a lot differently. And so some mistakes with marketing and not paying attention to your online reputation is just not paying attention to it. You know, you're busy, you're not thinking about what people are saying about you on Google. You only have a couple reviews. You know, maybe there's just like 3 reviews. You know, how are you going to be seen as the local expert if you only have 3 reviews? You know, you see hundreds of patients a week, you need to be asking the happy people to leave your reviews. And that's the thing, the happy people. If you're not asking happy people to leave your review, I guarantee you, you're going to have some bad reviews because people have a billing issue or they don't like the wait time or whatever it is. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the doctor. But if you want to attract new people, you have to have a lot of reviews and they have to have overall, I would say over a 4.5 star average rating. Sinking money into marketing without fixing your online reputation. Again, I'll laugh when I'll see people like, you know, I shouldn't laugh, but I mean, it's mind boggling sometimes when I see people spending a lot of money on marketing and I Google them and it's like not good what is on there. And most of the time it's just, they haven't been asking the happy people. They've got tons of happy patients, but they just haven't asked them to leave a review. Or it could be your staff is hurting your reviews. Maybe the reviews have nothing to do with you, but it has to do with that one employee that is just, you know, not treating the patients the way that she should. Other posting to other sites, okay, or only putting your reviews on your website, not putting them on Google. That's a huge mistake. These other websites like Health Grades, Vitals, all that, I mean, it's wonderful, but it's not going to help you rank higher in Google. People aren't going to Health Grades to look for a doctor. They're going to Google. So you want to make sure that you're posting to Google primarily. Facebook recommendations are a good secondary option because Google does index those reviews. So if you have a Hotmail or Gmail or I'm sorry, a Hotmail or Yahoo or AOL email, you can't leave a Google review. So it is good to have a secondary option. And I would say Facebook would be the next best option. So just make sure you're asking for reviews. We actually have a system where we ask patients to how their visit was. And then if their visit was good, it'll ask them to leave a review. If their visit wasn't good, or they were unhappy about something, then the office manager actually will get a notice and then he or she can call that patient and kind of resolve the issue before it ever asks them to leave a review. So anytime you see somebody with tons and tons of reviews, I guarantee you that they're doing that. And then responding to your reviews. So yes, respond to both the positive and negative reviews. It shows you care. Personalize the response when possible, and then address any negative reviews on the phone. A lot of times, if you reach out to that person, they will take down the review once you resolve their issue. And then also a little homework, make sure that you research the number of reviews for your competitors. If your competitor has 50 reviews and they're not even as good of a doctor as you are, that should fire you up. You need to get more reviews than them. So set a goal. Google OB-GYN near me, Google functional medicine near me, whatever your specialty is. See who comes up, look at their number of reviews, and that should be your goal, that number or higher for the number of reviews. This just is a quick results just to encourage you guys that, doing this, you will see results pretty quickly. So this is a 90-day before and after number of map views and number of search views by working on your Google listing and also getting more reviews. So in summary of the 5-step process for attracting new patients, number 1, you got to be obsessed with building that list of leads. Do that within your target market, and you want to use social media ads for your webinar and landing page to do that, and also ebooks. I should have added that on this slide. Nurturing your leads, so now helping them to warm up to you. You're going to do that again, being present on social media and using email marketing. You're going to automate your lead flow with a sales funnel. So that's going to automatically follow up with those leads right away and get them to book appointments. And then lastly, the last 2 is optimizing your Google listing so people can find you, and also making sure you have that rock solid online reputation so you're seen as that go-to local expert for women's health in your area. So hopefully after today, you guys can see that, if you do these things, you focus on your current patients first, you're doing targeted mailers, you're doing email marketing, you're personalizing with social media, you've got a reminder system to get those folks to come back in when it's time for their touch-up treatment. You've got a landing page so people can opt in and who's interested in the treatment. You've recorded that evergreen webinar that's going to work around the clock. And then you're attracting new patients by building a list, nurturing the leads, and making sure that you are able to be found on Google and that you've got lots of reviews. And you absolutely can attract and achieve $150,000 or more within 12 months. It's actually only 50 patients, guys. It's not that much to be able to hit that number. So again, I think this is a really conservative estimate, and it's definitely achievable. So there's really 2 ways that you can kind of go from here. Number 1 is the hard way. So you can implement these strategies yourself, or task one of your staff members to kind of watch today's webinar and then learn these strategies and implement them. The truth is a lot of times this isn't going to work. And the reason is it's going to take a lot of time. So months, even years, to train on all these strategies and actually write the landing pages, write the email copy, create the social media posts, learn how to run ads that actually work, track your leads, tweak the leads, or track the ads, tweak the ads, putting together the webinar, putting together your PowerPoint slides, and then marketing it, right? And that actually could cost you more paying an employee to do that. And it's also not necessarily guaranteed to work because they haven't done this before. So the other option is working with us. So Medical Marketing Wiz, again, I reiterated at the beginning, we are the only company that is dedicated to this space. It is the fastest possible track to success with your intimate wellness services, as well as your other in-office procedures. And you're going to feel a lot more confident because you've got an expert in charge of your marketing who's going to implement this entire strategy for you. And that's going to give you the best shot at getting to 6 figures or more. As well as, like I said, duplicating this with those other in-office procedures and high-ticket services that you offer. You're going to rank higher on Google. You're going to be seen as the go-to. You can start seeing that steady climb in intimate wellness appointments and stop bleeding money. And then lastly, I love this one. You're going to be the envy of your peers. How many times have you looked at somebody's social media that's a peer of yours and go, my gosh, that guy is killing it. Wouldn't it be cool if people were saying that about you? And so that is our plan, is to make you guys the go-to, make you seen as that local expert, and get you to that number and beyond. So just again, like who we like to work with. Number one, we want doctors who want to attract high quality patients and want to be the go-to office. They want to be number one in their area. They want patients to know that they offer services that nobody else does. It's a shame when people don't know all of the great things that you offer. You've got to have a staff in place to ensure a great patient experience. We love to work with doctors that are committed to their success and that are willing to invest in their marketing the right way. To just stop wasting money and invest in doing things the way that you really probably should have before. And then lastly, I like to say we like to work with offices that are fun to deal with and eager to start now. Our team, we are a work hard, play hard team. We are really, really passionate about what we do. We've done it over and over and over again. We absolutely know that our system works, and we like to work with offices that are fun to deal with. You know, being condescending, not believing in the system, those type of things do not equal success. So that is really important to us. We are picky with who we work with, which is why we like to do a strategy call and kind of let you guys get to know us, let us get to know a little bit about you and see if that's a good fit. We do also only work with one office per specialty per area. Typically, it is about a 20-mile radius. It just depends on how metropolitan your area is, but typically it's around a 20-mile radius. We are actively looking for intimate wellness providers in all of the major markets. And we work with offices, everything from West Virginia to Los Angeles. So it doesn't matter if you're a rural office or you're in a very high-end area. We've really worked with a huge variety of clients, and we know that this strategy works. So just to show you a few examples, again, to encourage you and to get you excited, this is Dr. Schwartz. He is a Viveve client of ours. He has done 152 Viveve procedures since being with us. He's generated over $304,000 in revenue. The awesome thing about Dr. Schwartz is this is his first cash service that he's brought into the practice, but he's done lots of in-office procedures. So he does in-office hysteroscopy, and some other things like that, endometrial ablations. He's an awesome speaker, super passionate about patient education. And so he was really excited about this potential. And I think his enthusiasm definitely contributes to the great success that he's seen. So not only has he done amazing with his Viveve, we've also gotten him 106 new leads from his ebook and from his social media campaign. And you'll see a note here from his office manager, Monica, which talks a little bit about working with us. This is Dr. Raftis. So he is at a group practice with 8 providers. He's got the MonaLisa touch laser. Before he had used like a high-end newspaper, he took out an ad in an expensive local magazine as well. And he really didn't get any ROI from that at all. He actually has a pretty good email list. He'd never used email marketing and didn't have any social media presence at all. Again, another person that's like a really great speaker, really passionate about patient education. And so he was excited about doing some seminars. He had done some seminars before and he only had 6 people show up. So it was kind of, you know, you get all excited and nobody shows up. So what we did is we implemented our program. We engaged his current list, which is quite sizable, and then also did some external campaigns. So he was able to generate 184 new patient leads from his webinar, and he did $156,600 in MonaLisa Touch in a 12-month period with a 772% ROI on our program. This is another practice that has 4 doctors. They've got the MonaLisa laser. They generated $73,000 in MonaLisa revenue in 12 months and also got 95 new patient leads through social media. And they've also did, I think 4 or 5, 3 in-office seminars. So this is just a quote from Dr. Katz on a little bit about working with us. Dr. Fellenbaum, again, another big success story with the MonaLisa laser. He actually launched his device with us, and within 60 days of us launching this program, He did over $53,000 in MonaLisa Touch revenue. He's also added a urinary incontinence device and a body sculpting device to his practice because he got so much confidence in being able to grow these type of procedures. This is another group practice that got 112 new leads for their MonaLisa laser. And they did it through primarily a webinar with us. And they also have grown their social media significantly throughout that time. Another Viveve office. This is another office that we worked with when they launched their laser. And within 3 days of their webinar going out, they had 284 appointment requests. So kind of crazy how successful some of these events and webinars can be. And so just to tell you a little bit again about what we do, because we went over a lot today, we implement this blueprint for you for your intimate wellness, and then we duplicate it for your other high ticket services, such as your in-office procedures, your hormones, your wellness, your aesthetic services. So we record that evergreen webinar. We post daily, 5 days a week on both Facebook and Instagram. We include those personal photos. So typically we have our offices send us a bunch of photos all at once. They get an engagement kit with some signs and things like that. And we teach them what they need to do. They'll just take the pictures with their phone, send them to us. And then we utilize those in social media in between the other posts that we post. We grow their list. Okay. So we grow your list using targeted Facebook and Instagram ads. We put together that maintenance treatment reminder system. We nurture your leads through a monthly email newsletter, lead generating campaigns, and text messaging. We automate and create a sales funnel for you. So that has appointment scheduling so folks can schedule an appointment. We also go in and we optimize your Google listings. So we claim all of those listings, we optimize the listing, and then we get you 5-star reviews. And then every quarter, you have the option of also doing a patient education webinar on another topic or an in-office seminar. Those, we didn't go into a lot of detail on the seminars, but those are still very, very effective. And so that is something that is part of our program. And then everybody gets access to our private Facebook group, and you actually meet with our team every other week. So it's not a cookie cutter program at all. You will feel like we're an extension of your team. You'll know our team. You actually kind of become friends. So it's a really great relationship, and it helps us to really be able to customize the program for each individual office, really also like based on where they're starting from. So everybody starts from a different starting point. And so that's a nice thing about this, is that it can be customized for each office. And so if you think about if you had to do all of these things and you had to pay for them all on your own, it could be an upwards of $7,000 or more per month. I can tell you that we do not charge $7,000 a month. We can do this at a fraction of the cost. So I would definitely encourage you to check your inbox, make sure that you find the ebook, which we will send you right after the webinar today, on the secrets of marketing women's intimate health. And then I encourage you to hop on a strategy call. So if any of this sounds good to you, I encourage you to get on a call with our team. What we'll do is we'll kind of take a look at what you're doing right now, and we will do an analysis and give you some feedback like, hey, you're doing this really well. These are some areas of opportunity that you may want to focus on. So we'll look at your social media, how you're doing on Google. We can look at your online reputation. We also can look up your competitors. So we will look up every competitor that is in your area that offers one of these treatments. And then we can look up what ads they're running on social media. So we can actually show you what your competitors are doing and who they're targeting in your local market. We can talk about some ideas for your webinar, and then we'll also demo our program. So if you want to kind of see like, okay, how does the webinar work? Can you show me an example? Can you show me how this booking calendar thing works? We can go over all of that on the call. And then also we do have access to a Facebook group. Now you do not have to be a client to be in this group. It is called the Dr. Marketing Blueprint Facebook group. You basically can just get access to this by going to our Facebook page. So look up the Medical Marketing Wiz Facebook page, click on groups, and then you can request access to this. You can also scan this QR code and it'll go right straight to the group. Just a couple questions you have to answer, and then we'll let you in the group. Our team posts stuff in there. There's VIP access to stuff. You get access to Glenn and I every other week doing a live webinar on marketing tips. And then there's a bunch of downloads in there as well as just being able to kind of bounce ideas off of our team, as well as other folks that are doing intimate wellness. And then this is how to get in touch with us. So make sure you're following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And if you want to learn more about what we do, you can always visit our website and check it out. All right. We'll hope to see you on a call. Hope you got a ton of value out of today's webinar, and we will see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye.